is just a one-off. Guys, don't even worry about it. The food was terrible, but don't worry, because for the next week, we'll be living in lavish luxury on a tropical island, and we'll be eating great food, and it'll all be great. That's what I told my family, because I believed it myself, but that's not actually what happened. Hi family, welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me. If you made it to this video, this is the story time in detail of what happened and where I was. If you're interested in the details and the tea of it all, keep on watching. My plan actually was to make this video the moment I set foot back into my house, because I wanted everything to be fresh on my mind. But if you watch my Where Have You Been video, you would have known that I actually contracted COVID. So I was out of commission for weeks on end, and I was unable to film. I have nothing written down. I have no sheets, no paper, no nothing. So you're just gonna have to bear with me as I'm recalling information that happened. So the first thing is, I finished my real estate class, I think on a Tuesday. I believe it was a Tuesday. And Thursday, my family was flying out to go to our first international family vacation. So we were super excited, looking forward to it. We were planning this trip for quite some time. So we're just extra excited that it was happening now. I didn't try to look prim and cute for this video. I just want you guys to know I had to just jump back into filming because I felt like I kept putting it off because I didn't know how to start and kind of where to tell you guys I've been. So this is why I'm wearing this. Anyway, so yeah. So Tuesday, I finished class. Tuesday was my last day of work. And it's like, great, now I can focus on getting us together to pack and all of this type of things, right? So great. So we flew out of New Jersey. We actually went the night before because it was a drive. It was like 2 hours to get there. We got a little cheap hotel room, whatever. The food that we ordered for delivery was straight trash. I don't know what happened to the pizza shops and stuff around the airport, but they're not good. So this is not a shade to Newark. I love Jersey, but it wasn't it. And the food that we ordered actually came almost 2 hours late. So not only was it not good, it was cold. This is just a one-off. Guys, don't even worry about it. The food was terrible, but don't worry, because for the next week, we'll be living in lavish luxury on a tropical island, and we'll be eating great food, and it'll all be great. That's what I told my family, because I believed it myself, but that's not actually what happened. Went to sleep, woke up the next morning, got to the airport. I'm like really serious with airport stuff. So, you know, you're supposed to get there like 2 hours to make sure you check in. I like to get there between 3 to 4 hours to make sure that everything that could possibly go wrong can go wrong. It absolutely can go haywire. But I still have time to recover and go on my flight and go about my business. We had a super early morning flight, so we had to get there even earlier. So here we are, we get there, went through TSA and everything. We're at the gate maybe an hour and a half before our flight was actually supposed to leave. So it's like, okay, now we can relax. You know, now you can breathe because we just went through everything. We got coffee and tea and snacks, all those type of things to get ready to board our flight. And I'm saying airport names, I'm saying airline names because this is my story time. So we flew with Delta. I had a bad experience with Delta years ago, like in my teens. And I said I would never fly Delta again and blah, 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 blah. That time I was using someone's buddy pass. If you have someone that works in the airline, you know what a buddy pass is. I was using their buddy pass, and then something, I don't know what occurred. I can't remember because it was too long ago. But something happened, and then all of a sudden I couldn't use the buddy pass anymore, even though I was like in the airport and they already checked me in, and now all of a sudden the buddy pass doesn't work. So they had to scramble and figure out a plane to put me on. It was a mess. I ended up being in the airport overnight that time. It was horrendous. I swore I would never fly Delta again. Fast forward now, here I am, super grown, married with kids, and this is what we're doing. Anyhow, so we wait at the gate, like, you know, everyone else is. We wait for the plane to board, we board the plane, and we're just sitting there for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but nothing is happening. Like, no one's talking. The pilot didn't come on and give us any, you know, hey guys, we're about to be flying out in a minute, and the weather looks great, and this and that, and
okay.
You know, you guys know how it sounds. Probably ruined it, but you get the idea. None of that was happening. We're just sitting in silence. So I turned to my husband. Hey husband, we've been sitting here for quite some time. I don't think this is normal. And he's like, no, I think it's okay. And I'm like, all right, husband. I'll wait a little bit, but I think I'm gonna ask one of the flight attendants if something is wrong. And he's like, okay. So we wait like another 10 minutes. So now it's like 30 minutes and we're just still sitting there. So the next flight attendant that walks past me, I'm like, hey, Miss Flight Attendant, why are we still sitting here? Is something wrong? And she said, oh, the pilot's gonna make an announcement shortly. So I look at my husband and he's just like, uh-oh, right? So the people behind me and people in front of me also heard me ask a question. So now they wanna know like, hey, what did she say? And I was like, great, this is just great. Now the pilot comes on. Oh, we just want to thank you everybody for flying the Delta. Just want to let you know that one of the latches are missing on the plane. So we just have to have someone replace it really quickly and we'll be on our way. We're just waiting to order the piece and we will be on our way. What? Not what we wanted to hear. So one of my daughters was sitting with me. My other daughter was sitting with my husband. She's like, so is this safe? Like, what does that mean? I'm like, it'll be fine. Let's pray. How about we just pray? It's going to be great. They're going to figure it out. They wouldn't keep us on the plane if it wasn't something that could be easily replaced or not safe, and we'll be fine. We literally, the four of us held hands. We prayed. Great. My anxiety's gone. We're Gucci. 20 minutes goes by and we're still sitting there. So, oh, sorry. I totally forgot to say. So we have a connecting flight to our destination. So this was just the first flight. I hate connecting flights, but there was nothing available when I actually booked our ticket. So we had to have a connecting flight. So this had the shortest layover. So I wanted to make sure we didn't have like a 7-hour layover or something ridiculous. This layover was an hour and a half, right? So I'm over here saying, oh, well, the good news is by the time we land, we'll have less time to wait for our connecting flight. So it'll all actually work out. Pilot came back. Hey y'all, everybody, thanks so much for waiting. So we actually have the 2 latches missing and we don't have the part. So we're actually going to purchase the part from another airline and then we will replace it and we'll be on our way. We will be on our way shortly. Thank you for flying Delta. I was like, all right, so now there's 2 latches missing. Delta doesn't have the latches, so now they have to buy it from another airline. Okay, sounds kind of fishy, but you know what? We're just gonna go off the strength of the pilot because he's a pilot. He knows what he's doing. Like, this is not his first rodeo, I hope. And it'll be fine. It'll all be fine. So we're still waiting. Another 20 minutes or so goes by. Hey everyone, just an update. We were able to get the latches. So now we just gotta pay for them and they'll bring them over to the plane and replace it. We should be in the air in about 10 minutes. So I'm like, okay, cool. We leave in 10 minutes. Because all the time that lapsed now, we probably have about maybe 30, 45 minutes to wait for the connecting flight. So I'm like, great, that just shaved off some time. We're great. So now it's like 20 minutes go by, not 10 minutes. Hey everyone, just want you to know that we are still waiting for the person to bring the latches over. We have paid, we have the paperwork, but the latches still have not arrived. Once the latches arrive, it should be about another 15 minutes and then we'll be in the air. All right, still checking the time. So, I'm just gonna spare you my terrible pilot accent and let you know that's not what happened. And by the time we actually got the latches onto the plane, we sat there for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Just let that sink in. An hour and 20 minutes, we sat on that plane before it actually took off. So during this time, I'm getting anxious again because I'm just like, hey, we have a connecting flight. What are we supposed to do? So at the pilot's last message, I'm like, you know what? Let me ask the flight attendant what could be done. So I say, hey, Miss Flight Attendant lady, question. So we actually have a connecting flight. And because it took so long for all this latch business to finish, we actually only have about 10 minutes to get from the gate that we land to the next flight. So you know how flights go. They have to stop. You sit there for a minute. Everyone has to get their luggage. We're in the middle of the plane. We're not in front or anything. Then we have to run to the gate and we have to do all that song and dance. Are we going to miss our flight? And she's like, well, no, you should be good. I was like, 10 minutes? That's not really a lot of time. Is there any way that you can hold the next flight? Oh, no, we don't hold flights. we don't do that. So we can't, that's not an option. We don't do that. I was like, great. So then what happens if we miss our flight? Then you'll just have to get the next one. So a girl in front of me overheard the conversation and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not being nosy or anything, but it actually sounds like we're going the same place. And I had already checked and there's no other flights leaving today.
Bruh.
So my girls were in a panic. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? This is our vacation. We waited so long for this. And I'm like, I'm feeling the same thing. I'm feeling the same thing. But mommy mode's still kicking in. And I'm still trying to figure out how can I still finagle this? How can we still work this out? So I wait, and we actually are in the air now. So I'm like, all right, so we're in the air. We have 10 minutes to actually get to the next flight. It was like we're landing at, say, 1:42, and our flight leaves at 1:52. So I'm like, how is this supposed to happen? So then I stop another flight attendant. We're in the flight now. We're traveling. So I'm like, hey, I just have a thought. I told her the whole story. I let her know, we have a connecting flight, as do the people that are in front of us. And how can we get there to make sure we don't miss the connecting flight? So my suggestion, I said to her, is there a way possible that we can at least move our luggage from the middle of the plane? Let me just say this. We checked nothing. I don't believe in checked bags anymore because I lost way too much luggage with airlines. So everything is coming on the plane with me. I don't care if I have a mattress. The mattress is coming on the plane. On the top, it's going in the bin. It's not going under the plane. Not an option. So we have everything in the overhead bins with us. So I asked her, we all have one bag. We don't have like huge suitcases. We don't have anything. I made sure every luggage, everything that they had for the week fit in their carry-on bag. So I asked her again, hey, flight attendant lady, is it possible that we can move our carry-on bags to the front of the plane? That way, at least when the plane lands, we can just run, grab our bags from the front and go. She said, I don't think there's room in the front. So no. Now I realized, like, they kind of got attitudes on this plane. Like, I wasn't given attitude. I wasn't doing the, everybody think that the black ladies got to roll their neck. I didn't do any of that. I was very polite. I was very respectful, but I just felt like I kept getting pushed back with every idea that I had. So I'm like, okay, but why? Because I don't think that there's room up there. So I'm like, okay, so is it possible that you can just go check if you have an overhead compartment empty? If it's empty, then we can definitely put our things up there. And then it just turned to, no, there's no room. There's no room up there. And I was like, oh, okay. I see what's happening. All right, cool. And she's not gonna help me? Great. All right, great. So we literally, my whole family did like a little huddle. So now we're all leaning over like, what are we gonna do? This is what needs to happen. Babe, husband, when you get off this plane, I need you to book it. Don't look to your left. Don't look to your right. Just take your body, your body, and I need you to run as fast as you can to the next gate. During this whole transition, I'm still checking our gate to make sure that the plane is still leaving on time, or if it was going to be delayed. Our gate changed. So it actually went one gate further away from us instead of closer to us. So I'm like, of course this would happen, right? Of course. So anyway, that's the plan. I said, girls, I'm going to take your bags down. I'm going to toss them to you, grab them, and run, right? And my husband is like, well, what about your bag, babe? What about my bag? Don't worry about the bags. I'm a pretty strong girl. I'm gonna get the bags. Don't worry about it. Plane lands. My husband, well, first of all, he turned into Usain Bolt, because before the plane landed, he had his hoodie on. He pulled the strings. He tied his shoelaces. He's ready. He's getting his in his mood. He's ready. I'm like, oh, this looks like a whole Gatorade commercial. I'm here for this. He's like hyping up to make sure he sprints so he can get off the plane in time. The girls in front of us, they were listening to what the plan was, so they was with it too. Boom. So as soon as we touched ground, my husband shot to the front of the plane. So now he's at the door. He's already there. We see him. Dad's up there. Don't worry about Dad. So as soon as we land, I pull the things down. Boom! I take all the bags. I have everything in my hand. I toss the girls' bags to them. I have my bags and my husband's bag. And everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy at this point. Because again, we're in the middle of the plane. You know when you don't have a connecting flight and the plane lands and the people in the back just stand up? It's like... You look so dumb right now. What are you doing? You're not getting off this plane right now. There's so many people ahead of you. You're not getting off. That's the energy I was giving. But I made an announcement. We have a connecting flight. So this is why we have a connecting flight that we're trying not to miss. So we have to go. So everybody knew what it was. I apologize as I'm running through people and stuff. My daughters booked it. They're gone. So now I'm just like, okay, great. They must have caught up with Dad. They're fine. It's just me and the other girl who I just met and myself and my two bags. So we got to the front. I now don't have time to wheel these bags. So this is how I'm holding the bags. But I'm running through the airport with these 2 big bags like this. Running, following this girl. Where do we have to go? Down the escalator? Great. Down the escalator. We go down the escalator. Oh no, we gotta go up the escalator? Now we're going up the next escalator. Now we're going down another escalator, so now we're going down another escalator. Now we have to take the, whatever it's called, air shuttle or whatever. Now we're on the air shuttle. So now I'm like, how are we doing the time? She's like, oh, we still have like 1 minute. I'm like, great. The best thing is I don't see my husband or I don't see my girls. So they must be at the gate. They're holding the plane. We're good. We get out. We have to go up 2 more escalators. Now we're going up 2 more escalators. Let me just tell you where I am too. So we landed in Atlanta. So if you ever traveled through Atlanta, you know how big Atlanta airport is. That's where we are. So this whole escalator business and all that type of stuff, you already know how big this airport is. This is why we're running like this. We go up the next 2 escalators. My chest at this point is hurting me, but I can't stop because my adrenaline is pumping so fast. We can't miss this plane. We go up the next escalator. We get up there. We're like, okay, there's the gate. We're still running. We get to the gate. We get there. I look. If you are enjoying this tea time, this story time right now, please stay tuned for part 2 because this video is going on way too long. Stay tuned for part 2 to hear the rest of the trip. Guys, I've been. So this is why I'm wearing this. Have Vaseline on my lips. Just keeping it real rap raw for you guys today. Such a nerd.